Hello.
Go suck a lemon.
Okay. I am a little bit anxious, I will be real with you, chat. For the... It's frankly a very simple reason why I'm anxious. Because... Fourth. Hi, Rudy. Welcome to Fourth. How do I find more buff fluffs? I don't know. Because here's the thing, is yesterday something wrong? Not like, at least it shouldn't be wrong. This is just me. It's just one of those like fun little like social things where my brain is just probably running into a loop. where yesterday was a day where basically no one in the office who worked full time was working yesterday, because that's something that, work is doing for us, which is great. Today, however, I'm not working today. And the reason I'm not working today is because of time in lieu of, because of, I worked on a previous day or something or rather. And there's a gentleman's it was a gentleman's agreement sort of thingy-majiggy in our team that, if you've had to work on a Saturday, you're a full-time person, you really shouldn't, because of working on the Saturday, you can have that, be used as being able to have a day off from the normal week full-time time. So in this case, someone was away all week last week, so I didn't do my usual taking the immediate day or something like that, like a Monday off, because it was Entane, and I was like, all right, I'll do the Tuesday then. So it ends up giving me a 4-day weekend, because Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So today, most other people are working except for myself. And because of that, I will still get notifications either because of an email or maybe a message, an instant message, sort of saying, sort of asking, is there anyone able to help me? Or, hey, has this issue been looked at? So it's one of those messages. And I just had this and it's been sitting there for 15, 30 minutes. And I just had this tight feeling of I should answer that and such. And so I just spent a little bit of where is it? Uh-oh. What's going on here? I don't like this feeling of anxiety. I don't know if this is anxiety or something else. But it's just basically a case of today I'm not supposed to be working. But the reason I'm not supposed to be working is because I worked on the weekend. So I don't know. Do you ever get that feeling where it's you have time off and it's it's not a 2-week stint or something like that where it's you've been prepping for this time off. It's more rather, you just get it's just one day, and you go through this one day and you don't have a job, so no. Okay. Well, I guess me trying to... Granted, I'm explaining this in the afternoon. I'm explaining this at approximately lunchtime, where there's probably a lot of people who are either not working or, are in the middle of work, or they're tired right now. It's one of those three things, I guess. It's a bit of an oddsy one. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just... This is what the first few minutes are gonna be. Is just me sort of being I should have answered these, or I should have had, maybe I should have just prepped better for the fact that I wasn't gonna be working today. So I should have had any of my tickets. Me no work because mental health reasons. Wait, when was... Switch. All right, there we go. I just did a... Oh... So yeah, also it doesn't help that I'm now officially on call as well. We swap from, who's on, basically who has to manage the phone line, on call thingy-majiggy, about once a month. it's my time of the month now to be available via phone call after hours this week. So, it's real stressful. It doesn't need to be stressful either. It doesn't need to be stressful, but like, you know, here I am just sort of being like, oh goodness. So, alrighty, let's try and get into a little bit of fun. Plus, if my manager is like, hey, why are you commenting on like stuff when it's your toil and aisle? Actually, no, he's probably not going to ask that because he's just going to see that as like free thingamadiggy. Hi there, Ernest, Zach. Welcome to the stream. I'm just trying not to be like... What's the word? Trying not to be stressed about not working today. Because yesterday was a day that, you know, a lot of us weren't working, but that's one that's mandated... Well, not mandated by work, but it's one that work has helped set up and such like that. So it's a case of like, oh, I'm not working, but neither is a whole ton of other people. So if anyone's asking for help on that day, if I'm not on call, it don't matter. But today, most other people are working and I'm just not working. There's probably like a handful of peeps as well. Let's see, what's this? Important notice, all worlds maintenance on June 20th. In order to implement patch 6.41, maintenance will take place on all June 20th from 2... Alrighty then. I do not have all the time in the world to play this game, unfortunately. It looks like... let me just go to my sources, turn off desktop capture, turn on PC capture. I don't need the Soul Lounge. And looks like GrantZeebs is the last man standing. Good for them. So, this is going to be a short stream then, because there's only 2 hours available, well, less than 2 hours technically, to be able to play Final Fantasy XIV today, because they're going to be doing world maintenance. That's okay. I don't normally play Final Fantasy games, or I don't normally play the MMO on Tuesdays or Wednesdays anymore, because that's when they normally did the maintenance. It's a bit weirdy that it, like, goes off in the middle of the day, because, you know, I thought with the multiple data centers they'd be able to, like, you know, stagger the updates in the different areas, but I guess that's to avoid people being able to, that's to avoid people being able to, like, you know, world transfer or data center transfer from one spot to another just because of maintenance, and then to try and exploit something. So, Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, isn't it? All right, we got missions to do. We got to go over to Ul'dah. I also need to check I need to check this bell. Hang on a second. All right, so we got bronze pieces and some crimson. They're right now level 42. We're going to reassign them again. That way they do their little expedition. Entrust and withdraw items. You're gonna sell all those. I'm gonna... What are these? Magicked prisms. Oh, I don't give it to you because you're my food and drinks. I'll give you this. Entrust duplications, which you don't have. So, and then... Zabrella, who is my, you know, my resident miner, picking me up like raw garnet and shit. 46. Slowly but surely, they are increasing in level, which is exactly what I want. All right. Entrust that. Entrust any duplicates, which I don't have. Sell those. All right, so I'm getting a little bit of gil, which is nice. I don't know what any of that shit is. All right, clear prisms, dispel prisms. At one point, hang on, sort. I will probably get back into crafting one day. It probably won't be at, you know, this stream here, because number one, I only have 2 hours. Cookie for furry cures. But then number two, there is no fun in streaming the whole crafting and gathering nonsense. It is not all that fun. Nice cock. Perfect. Alrighty, so yeah, I gotta keep those glamour prisms. I gotta sell these cards at some point. Alright, I can entrust this to you. And let's see. I have all these, like, faded copies of shit. But I don't really have a good means of using it for anything. Antiquated stuff. Heavenstrun, Thingamadoog, Soul of the Crafter, Totems, Feeds, Seed. So many things. Blep to you, too. This is an interesting prediction, Kiaru. What's the time limit on doing this? Ever. Oh, ever? You're telling me that, hang on, let me see. Will this do the right zoom? No, that doesn't do the right zoom. Will this do no, that won't do the right zoom. I need to do a zoom where it just goes down to the prediction. Give me a moment. Filters. All right, so we got the normal zoom. We got the guest zoom. We got top left, bottom left, chat zoom up there. I'm going to duplicate this zoom, and we're going to call it prediction zoom. And then, so this is meant to be modifying, like, the camera thingy-madiggies. All right, and then transform center horizontally. There we go. So this is for the prediction zoom. Get the transformation. Let me see. Does the prediction poll... Where is it? 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 Twitch goals? No, that's over there. Ticket banner? Nope. Shoutouts? No. Oh, Twitch predictions. There we go. Alrighty then. You know what we can do? We can zoom this. So I'm gonna lift this up. Keep it there, and then... And then transform center horizontally. Get transformation. Actually, you know, I'm looking at, like, the scale thingamadiggies. All right, let's just go 3. Turn this on. And then put you there. Center horizontally. Get transformation. And then I need to open up my Stream Deck settings. So then that way, going back into here, going back into my filters. Move you there. Move you two over here. Move you guys here. And then filter. Drop you here. Bottom middle. Mid bot. So bot mid. Zoom. And it's going to be on, let's see, main stage. All right, so we need to go to our main stage. Ding. And it's the prediction zoom. So now, close this. Back to me. Slow zoom in me. There we go. All right, let's back you up just a little bit. There we go. Prediction zoom. There we go. All right, so... there is one person who thinks that I will actually lock my bar, and then there's Kiaru, I'm guessing, who has locked in Na for over 1,000 points. Bold assumption there. Bold of you to assume that I won't just lock it just to spite you, Kiaru. Let's see. What do I gotta... Alright, sort all these. I can probably discard all those. Alright. Also go back to Pinnacle Woman because I need to give her this meat. Don't fail me. You need the points. I wonder, if you're the only one... Yeah, if you two are the only one, it's basically a case of if Kiaru will Grant give the woman his meat. I don't think you can start more than one prediction. Give me a second. Predictions. Is there a way to handle... No, there's only the one prediction. So, alright. The adorable Boyton. Is there any gear I can give you? Because this is all level 60. That's 67. That's 63. I need to figure out, like, what rings I don't need to give you. Alright, so that's a 67. 65, 63. Oh, no, wait, hang on. That's currently being used by something. Alright. So that's 60, 52, 50. And that's a ring for our thingamadoogs. 63. Nope, I have a lot. Once again, I forgot to put him on a venture. God damn it. Assigned to a venture, a field exploration of level 65. There we go. Dink. Alrighty, exit the room. Yes, we can get out of there. I should really increase the points required for prediction at some point. But will Grant lock his bar? Nah. Just gonna get that out of the way right now. Congratulations. Free points. You just... Of course you think it's free points. Alrighty. I am going to save my monies by going to the airship. Do 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 do. Dun dun. Airship ticketer. We're heading to Ul'dah. It's cheaper to go through the airship to get to Ul'dah rather than, you know, using the Aether transport system thing. Sup, Potato Man. Dun, 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 dun. Alright. Yep, so we're heading to Central Thallon. So you want to be a pugilist.
Sire, you paid me to say when I was a young boy my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, "Son, when you grow up, would you be a zebra?"
You know, my dad didn't do that to me. We didn't go see a marching band in the city. We did go to Disney World, not Disney World. We went to Warner Brothers Movie World in the Gold Coast, though. That was pretty fun. And amazingly enough, there was, I don't know what it's called, but they had like this show on the streets where Batman and the Joker had their little like escapade or something like that. And they picked a kid from the audience to ride with Batman. So you like went around through the streets, like you would just do like a once-over thing. For some reason, I was able to get into the Batmobile. What did I talk about when I was with the Batman when he asked me questions? Fucking Pokemon. This would have probably been like the greatest thing for DC fans to go through when they were a child, and I wasted my time talking to Batman about how cool Pokemon was. And was Grant a little autistic with Batman? Oh, most likely. Didn't explain much, and then once I was able to talk about Pokemon, just fucking lore dumped, most likely. I don't 100% remember this experience. I just remember getting into the Batmobile with Batman. He's waving. He asks me, like, you know, what I like or something or other, and I go on about Pokemon and Digimon. I probably should have been a lot more knowledgeable at DC, just so then that way I could talk to Batman of like, oh, I really like the comics, and I think it's really cool, you know, that you're like Zorro, but you have like some detective skills. But didn't do that. I talked about Pokemon and how I really liked like Pikachu and Gengar. Look upon this procession of tattered tents, these refugee camps in squalor at the mercy of the elements and Thanalin's predators at both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hands of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. Yeah, I wonder why, Namuno. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity. Yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Yes. Yes, it does.
Uranina paid me to say as I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug. This is a one-woman show.
What? Fuck this. No, she has not done her best. And her hands being tied is like a very, like, just sort of throwing the blame aside. Because it's like, oh, you couldn't have possibly been able to... You couldn't have possibly, as the Sultana, been able to do more for your citizens because the Syndicate would have done something about it. It's like, no, fuck that nonsense. You're the fucking Sultana. Like, you're a monarchy ruling over a city. Act like a fucking monarchy. Don't act like a figurehead. Jesus Christ. Your hands were tied. That's a pity complaint. But I blame you. Yes, my authority is limited, and that is an obstacle I must work to overcome. What limitation? Shall we press on? I would forward the road to the unholy air. Like, you're worth nothing in this city. You're probably only existing still because this city looks to the monarchy as, like, you know, if it's a constitutional monarchy, then she is a figurehead. Where can I get info about Ul'dah? Because, as far as I know, it is very much a monarchy. It's not like, you know, Ishgardian monarchy, where it's like, you know, state and religion, church and state, sorry. Church and state is like really strongly tied together. I'm fairly sure, like, you know, church and state is very much separate, but here she is dealing with, like, you know, a band of merchants. Oh, I can't be mad while I'm on the Mega Shibu. Hang on. Look at him. Look at the little doggo. Look at him. He's so cute. He's so cute. Oh, this way. He's just so cute. So precious. Alrighty, what is she doing? It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in Eastern Thallin when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raban once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' death were orchestrated by the monetarists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. this fucking monarchy is just ah fuck you. Why? Oh my gosh. Why do monarchies have to be, oh, they're, you know, pathetic shells of themselves and such, and then you have, oh, let's just have the Mad King running us. What could possibly go wrong as he kills all his enemies? Oh shit, I am one of his enemies. Like, why are these two extremes? God damn it. Fix your shit, Nomino. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivete. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience. I'm sorry, Nomino, but you being this short and doing the whole, like, stomping and waving your hands does not remove the idea that you're just a child reciting words with witless obedience. You will not be used as a pawn in the monetarists', damnable games. Forgive my outburst. You're one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. If I could speak my mind to you, you would not want to talk to me. You would be annoyed by me because everything I'm saying right now tells me that I don't like you. You're probably not bad as a person, but you're shit as a monarchy right now. You are better off, like, committing to your whole giving it to the citizens, and you should have just been like, oh, fuck you, monetarists. Hi there, Code. Welcome to the stream. There's going to be like a world maintenance going off in approximately an hour and a half, so I have to try and go through this as well as I can. But this little pink potato woman is just, oh, she gets on my nerves. The American in me just hates monarchies. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. Why is it so expensive? Jesus Christ. Can we get a shout out for Code? You could Destiny 2 when the maintenance happens. I could, but I won't. Because I'm fine with just having the stream be like a short, you know, maybe less than 2 hour sort of stream, and then, you know, getting out of the computer and trying to maybe, I don't know, look at what Foods is going to be like, or doing a little bit of 3D nonsense in preparation for tomorrow evening. Other things that are not required to be done within... Yeah, sorry, Furry Cures. That's not a VIP command. That's a moderator command. Hang on a second. I'm a moderator. I can do it. Bam. There we go. Ooh, Divinity Original Sin. The second one. How are you finding it? Is it long? Like, is combat, like, sluggish? I should ask. Do you have your bars locked? No, I do not. The bars are not locked. As you can see, as I zoom in here. Actually, that is a very convenient zoom. Well, not this zoom. This is the slow zoom. This is a very convenient zoom for when I go and want to present my toolbar. Like, look at that. Now back to me. Now back to the toolbar. Now over to the TTS.
Don't make me send you to Jesus myself.
Okay, it's still icy, but that's because someone used icy. Now back to the toolbar. Look at it, chat. Look at it. What happens if I, like, put this up here? Actually, I don't want to put it in the ults. I will, however, move these around. And then... So yeah, so here's the thing. It's like I got my 1, 2, 3 combo there. Area of effect 1, 2 there. Number 4 is me just, you know, throwing it at a distance. 5 and 6 is my AoE. 7 and 8 is like the cool abilities. 9, 10 is, you know, when the blood gauge gets filled. And then the minus is to do the Blackest Night thingy-majiggy, which is really cool. There's probably a better way to set up a hotbar like this, but it's ridiculous to think that I would. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get Provoke out, and I'm gonna put in... Let's see, so Arm's Length, I'm gonna put in the 1. Delirium will go into 2. Blood will go into 3. 4, 5... I'm going to put that into 6. I'm going to move you into 7. This is another walker. Cool. So Provoke will go up here with all the useless shit. Alright, so we got Carve and Split. I'm going to put Plunge before Carve and Split.
Icy is cute, woo.
It's good. Would love to a game of it with some peeps, though I might do that when Baldur's Gate 3 fully releases. Fair enough. I remember a long time ago, I was thinking, oh yeah, Divinity Original Sin would be a fun little... What kind of tank doesn't pull aggro? This tank pulls aggro by attacking. That's how the tank pulls aggro. I look at an enemy at the distance, I hit my Unmend, it hits them back, or it hits them, they realize, oh, he threw an attack at me, and then they go after me next. It's that simple. The best way to get people's attention is hitting them. Alrighty then, princess. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years, I simply signed where I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit. Blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant, yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raban. The match I did have invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I could not stand for so obvious an injustice and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raban to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raban had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did, and when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade and service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confessed I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raban is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the Blood Sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate. And then I had my blade. Wow. Oh no, we're getting an aneurysm explaining to us how Namino is just, you know, a useless sultan and help do the whole 1v1 match. Good stuff. Yep, he looks the exact same now as he did back then. What's this, like 5 years ago? Please don't. Please,
For
no.
Killers 1221 thanks, you should do 20 squats.
Please, your grace, come back. I beg of you. Look at this fucking, look at this child.
He's looking after Master Sham. Ravana!
Oh my, oh you fucking child.
Kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah. And so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last.
It pains me. It pains me that she spoke of like, oh, you're one of the top 6 richest. That means you get a seat in government. It's like, do you not hear like the problems you were going to have? God damn it, Namuno. God damn you. You, like, I don't care how young you were. Granted, like, you know, most 14 to 12-year-olds probably didn't realize this, but once you turn 16, then you're very much aware of all this shit. But basically, you knew that those with wealth and in the system of commerce have power. And you made it that the people governing the lesser were people in power. And in a capitalist system, people with power exploit. God damn it, Namino. Alright, I'm gonna do my 20 squats. Namino just makes me so angry. Ugh. Big stretch. Big stretch for the big boy. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Grant, maintenance soon. Yes, I understand. Hang on. Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Sean's love for me is at that of a grandshire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raban, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which would cut the strings that bound me. Oh my goodness, Namuno. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan Sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Arzaneth Oscuri. Oh my goodness. Hello. Hi there, YY. Welcome to the stream. You can be incredibly sheltered at 30 and incredibly world wealthy at 16. They are not equivalent. Fair enough, but... this... fucking... just this child, I'm... why is there... oh, it's because of that. Alright, cool. It's just one of these cases, like, I just hate this I just hate this monarchy child. Like, they're worse than a nepotism baby. I'm just overall upset with them. Here we go.
Y_Y9945 paid me to say hello. Did you see my messages? I've already have written 3 of them.
3? What? Furry Cures, GrantZeebs, code. Has my thing not been... my thing is not updating. Hang on. I think my chat has stopped working. Can I refresh it? Hang on. Refresh. Something's not right. What is 54 messages? Ding. Nothing in the stream right now, I'll be real with you. Weird. You don't see them either. Okay. When the calamity threatened, Raban led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartano, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Arxon Louisois would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here, I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are not fulfilling your duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarchy lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a sultan worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Grant. With Alamigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Cool. Does this mean that you will help with the, with the immigration policy, so then that way individuals who may want to return to Alamigo can do so without a disastrous cost, because they would have most likely have sold their livelihoods to get to you, and if they don't want to go back to Alamigo, then giving them a much better transitional period of being able to get into more public housing, or even doing public housing in Ul'dah. I wonder how you're going to do this when your syndicate is filled with the richest people in Ul'dah managing it. To facilitate that process, I have made a small contribution, an artisan school in Ragal's Reach for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. Housing! Just housing! Reparations! God damn it! An artisan school doesn't help right now. That's nice. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive. And this time, the Ul'danan Treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. No, do not ask the Syndicate. Why not seek the advice of one who employs... Fuck! No! These are not good options. Members of the Syndicate very much want to keep the refugees as refugees, because if they are left with desperate options, you can get them doing desperate things that are normally not good for them, but they're not making financial decisions in desperate times, they are making emotional decisions in desperate times. Meanwhile, this second point here, why not seek the advice of the one who employs refugees?
Y_Y9945 paid me to say IV send screenshot in your Discord direct of my issue on your stream. You will see messages, I am sure you can't see them here.
What Discord? Because I'm not getting any direct messages right now. I'm not seeing anything new. You didn't block them, did you? Hang on. Y_Y. No, it's not Dusty Yeen. Oh, it's a message request. Hang on. That's why. They're not blocked. There we go. Why does shit not want to work? Hang on. Twitch moderator. Moderate your own channel. Let's see. There's nothing in the auto mod queue. As far as I know, this person isn't banned. Nope, they're not banned. I don't believe they're blocked. Block, mod, gift a sub, pop out. Nope, none of those options will help me. The last message I have is ment your stuff, streaming, etc., but with a 3070 laptop. Actually, no, hang on. Let me go back to that message. Welcome to GrantZeebs chat. What happens if you force close the application and open it up again? All right, that's the most desktop supporty I'm going to be. I'm sorry to say, because I am not on what's Mahoozy. I'm not getting paid for desktop support here. All right, zooming in. Hey Grant, want to know how many you have open? You're watching. How are you watching 8 different? How are you hearing 8 different people right now? How? Neither of these options are good. Option number 1, I've already mentioned. Option number 2, you might recall in the patch content in Heaven's Ward, one of our least favorite Syndicate members turns out to be employing a lot of Alamegans, and he does this to force other Alamegans to do questionable shit in his mercenary group. Neither, like, this one is just obviously not a good option. This one here is a thinly veiled good option, but then you have to pull back of, oh, who is hiring all the Alamegans? And you realize it's the one person who probably doesn't want Namino to be able to, you know, rip control from him in the first place. I'm going to be silent on the matter because there is no good options. Quite frankly, you should have talked to Liss. Talk to the Alamegan, like, governance. Because if they are refugees from Alamegan, probably want to have a little discussion of, hey, got a lot of your Alamegans coming over here. What's going on? If even one of your worldly experiences is at a loss, it would seem I have no choice but to seek out someone more well-versed in monetary manners. I wonder, are you acquainted with Gobert Manderville? Not too sure. He is a most generous man, if something of an eccentric. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word is sent to the gold saucer. Godberg should be only too glad to receive us. Is that... Am I wrong? Is Godberg actually the one who's been hiring the most Alamegans? Weird. You also have One Piece on the side, and you're watching 3 YouTube videos. I do not know how you have the time to do all this, Night Sky. It sounds incredibly difficult. All right, speak at the airship landing. I should be able to use this thing to get to the airship landing. There we go, airship landing. You been playing on your NA account more than anything lately? Nice! I used to be in the NA data center, but I've since moved away from that to not deal with, like, heavy ping, just so then that way I'm able to, you know, play in the dungeons and the trials. I was with other Australians. Unfortunately, not a lot of other Australians have gone to the Oceania data center. They've all stayed in the North America. Because weirdly enough, there is no data center that can visit the Oceania data center. The NA data centers can, like, visit, you know, the data centers in between. You play everywhere. Hi there, Kuronicus. Welcome to the stream. I have ridden aboard a public air... I have never... Oh wait, I have ridden aboard a public airship before, but this shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. That's probably a good thing that the monarchy has not gone to the gambling capital. Blithesome businessman. Surely spared no expense with a saucer of his. Head to the Golden Saucer. Oh, Kuronekos. Am I right to just be positively annoyed with Namuno and the monarchy in Ul'dah? I am just so upset with them. They're just... Ooh, but this does mean... I can put on this outfit if I wanted to, but I'm not. It's kind of funny, like, they don't just double bunny ears the bunny people. It would be the biggest fuck you to all the peeps. It would be hilarious. I had heard oh my god, look. Observing as if this is like a newfound land. Like, I heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I have never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. The main reason I play on OC as well is because I finally wanted some mansions. Hey! I am slowly saving up for land. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. You can, you know, deal with those gaudy temptations. I am gonna go... Mini jackpot time. Here we go. All right, so that's a 4. 7, 2, 8. Ooh. Would there have been a better one? 976 would have given us 144, 190, 180, 36. Yep, I got the best one that I could have. Another 10. We go again. Let's go with the complete unknown. Let's see. 80, 72. Oh, 180 could have been done there. All right. Oh, this will be good. Damn it! I was hoping it would be good. Alrighty. Triple Triad Trader. I need to sell my cards for MG. So, sell you. Have I not opened it? Oh, I haven't. Okay. Yay, new card. All right. Dun, 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 dun. How much have you saved up? I currently have... Nope, that's not it. So I've got like 100,000 gil in here, but then over in the company chest that I have... Where is it? Party... Character... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Meanwhile, in the free company, there should be... It is not here. I currently have, like, I'm pretty sure, like, 1 or 2 million in there. Thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Alright, so we just need to hit right. Such cool shit. Oh, thank you for the follow, YY. Wait, why weren't you following before? Greetings, sir. Our next scheduled event will be held in the... All are welcome to participate. Sorry, my friend. Oh, I need to go up a level. Oh! Hello, 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 hello. Where is my... Here we go. Saboteur. That was fun. All right. I want to I want like a medium or a large. I've not done any like gill farming yet. So like there's probably a better way. Like I could, if I got into crafting a little bit more, I probably could get into the whole crafting like thing and do a lot of small company selling. You wouldn't do that? Oh. How do I make a lot of gil in Final Fantasy XIV? It's hard to stay up to date. Okay, fine, it's hard to stay up to date, but it's one of those things where if I wanted to do it, it would have to be a bit of a grind. I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Manderville. Shall we sit while we await his coming?
Y_Y9945 paid me to say I re-entered to my account via Twitch TV in the browser. Do you see my messages?
No. There is no new messages. Logged in via in the browser. Welcome to the... Are you okay? This is really weird. I don't know why. Hang on. Like, is there something suspicious about the name? Like, what the fuck? Weird. My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Godberg. My request was sudden, and while you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When the Sultana herself comes calling, there is no more important engagement. Cookie for Night Sky! Takes a lot of gil to pentameld your crafting gear to be able to make relevant gear or pots to sell. My best extension is starting a small home, getting into crafting submarines, and either selling them or using them to make gil. Wait, submarines? Thank you for the head pat, YY. I wonder if it's because of the name YY. Could it be because of the name? Hang on. If I go to my channel... This is weird. Like, you're nowhere to be seen. I don't... Like... Code doesn't see you. I don't see you. No one in chat sees you. There is something weird with your account. Is there like a... Is there like a report something else?
Y_Y9945 paid me to say, do you Twitch administrators banned me?
I don't know why you would be asking in here, because I'm going to be real with you. There are no Twitch administrators in here. Like, you really overestimate just how much pull I have on this platform, which is none. There is no pull whatsoever. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanalin. You are aware, I am sure, that many of the Alamigos' displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland, and you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might best be distributed? I can't wait to hear this guy's idea. The unusual circumstances of our meeting, and your Grace's choice of companion, would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. Do tell me. My advice to you is, stop. Taxing Ulda's wealth to save Alamigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You're one of those.
Sipping time sponsored by Y_Y9945.
He's one of those, chat. He's one of those fucking not in my backyard people. Thank you for the sippies. You oppose my proposition. Most emphatically, I agree with your grace that the refugees must have housing and employment, but what profit is there for Ul'dah in this Fuck! Profit? After all you have done for Gira Albania's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune. This man owns a casino. There's nothing that he wouldn't do for a buck. Forgive me, your grace. Cookie for Jason. Hi there, Jason. Hello. Forgive me, your grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misappreciation. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born of pity. Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely on it. No, you mother... This entire plotline upsets me. I was supposed to escape the late-stage capitalism troubles of the real world. Why am I seeing it in my video game? And then we must consider Ul'dah's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. That's an easy answer. You just rephrase it, so instead of it being just, you know, Gil makes the world go round because fashion is endgame. Fashion is a little bit of the... I actually, you know, got like a score of 80 or something like that with the Wild Rose checking me out and shit like that. There's like a... There's a Twitter account. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a Twitter account out there that gives you a suggestion on, like, you know, how to get the highest fashion rating. There's a weekly sheet. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Surely it is not your grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill. Indeed, then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people in Ul'dah. Public housing. There. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamegans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. He has just simply gone, whataboutism? He has just simply gone, don't help the poor Alamegans. What about the poor or Uldanians? That's all he's done. He has not helped you. You're very informed on the crafting ups and downs of Final Fantasy XIV. Kaikyo Star. It might be. Ooh. Pain. Just the entire time. Pain. Also, what is... Oh, it's the Phoenix Down. That's what it is. All right. Prophet. The thought never even crossed my mind. It most certainly has crossed your mind. Your first thought was just, oh, But standing about laminating my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Grant, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the Eastern Aldernan Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high... Hancock! This Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. You may repay my faith in journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to, I shall await your report by the Aetheryte in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Grant, and a swift one, if you please. Also, that reminds me, I need to find... like, the grand lottery thing. There we go. A scratchy a day. A keeps the IRS away. No, wrong. Here we go. The jumbo jackpot. Purchase a jackpot. Chat. Give me three number. Give me a 4-numbered thingy-majiggy. Give me 4 numbers. Marina Koneko. Alright, I see 2837, 2873, sorry, 2873. We'll purchase another ticket. Someone lol, I love how someone... Let's see, 1625. Alright. 1625.
Emotional damage.
Alright. I need a third one. Furry Curious, give me 4 numbers. I've currently used 2873, 1625. Oh, 1984. Alright, here we go. Thank you, Jason. Well, now that you have it, thank you. The winning number will be drawn every Saturday at 7 p.m. After drawing, you will have until the following Saturday at 7 p.m. Earth time to claim your prize. All right. Do not give me Gil. No. No. No, that's... I just wanted to check your adventure. How have you not made an adventurer plate at this point? It's just a giant bunny. And they're not enlisted in any free company. I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. You're in my chat. Kuronoko. It's you, isn't it? Wait, no. Pointing this way. It's you, isn't it? Hand. Point. I am enlisted in free company. It says not enlisted in a free company. Yonk. Alrighty. Can't see it because I wondered.
Bone Masked Dog thinks you should do 20 squats.
Alrighty. I have got to do... Alright, hang on. Where do they want me to go? Speak with Hancock and Kugane.
Quote 401. Threatening to take my femur, yeah. That's a bone masked dog thing.
It is a bone masked dog thing. Alright, let me do my squats really quickly before we go talk to Hancock. Big stretch! Here we go. You wanted to donate towards the new free company house. I appreciate it, but I do not wish to accept donations in the game, I'm sorry to say. I appreciate companionship and joining in on dungeons. I don't want donations, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Thank you for the 20 squats, Bone. It's no fault of your own. Like, I don't... Like, you know... I feel like most people, if I wasn't, like, streaming and shit like that, I would most certainly just be like, haha, thank you for the 1 million, and then just fuck off somewhere else, but... I don't want to do that to you. Because I don't want to, like, do the, like, what's it called? Code said it on Discord one time. They were like, you know, like, this thing about, because it happened in a party game stream where, like, someone threw gifted subs, they threw bits, and then they were like, hey, I want to be in the Discord with you, like, in the voice chat, and I'm like, I have no clue who you are. Like, we're not even, like, you're not even playing the same game as us. And then, like, the Discord is meant for, like, you know, friends and acquaintances. And it's just sort of a case of, what's the phrase? It's like carte blanche or something. So yeah, I didn't want, like, monetary, you know, investment to be, like, the reason someone is able to, you know, get benefits that are normally reserved towards, you know, people like Code and Jason, who I knew, like, maybe not Jason so much, but most certainly Code, where I knew Code before doing streaming and shit. It's a gift, not a payment. Yeah, no, exactly. So, so yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's easier for everyone if, you know, just don't, like, just to not accept gifts. The only time I've accepted a gift, like, while on stream, was because I was going through a dungeon with Savage, and there was, like, 2 other peeps. This is a great story, by the by. I'm the tank, Savage is the healer, and there's, like, 2 DPSs. The 2 DPSs are the 2 randoms, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe Savage was anyway, one of the DPSs, you'll buy me stuff on the market board. I am currently going through the... Actually, I shouldn't say it. Back to my story. I went through this one dungeon, and one of the DPSs was just, like, running the entire thing. Like, here I am trying to be the tank, trying to be a good tank, I should add, of, like, you know, pulling the mobs, doing an extra mob pull, because the DPS was obviously interested in being able to do big AoEs and such, but then he would just, like, keep running and going accelerate, like, gotta go fast. And I was just, like, typing in the party chat of, like, hey, is it okay if you can slow down a bit? No responses for them or anything like that. And then there came a point where we get to the boss in the dungeon, and it gives you the cinematic. I've not gone through this dungeon before, so that was you and I and that. Oh, me and Code. So yeah, so Code must have been healer then, and then yeah, 2 DPSs. So this DPS guy, however, he just ran into the boss, tried to fight him for a bit, or something, while the cinematic was going off, and I was just sort of like, dude, like, this is my first time in the so it was a bit of a it was, like, probably my poorest experience so far in Final Fantasy, where I just felt like I was on the clock. After that dungeon went off, I did my normal, or once we killed that boss, it was like, was DPS with random heal. Ah, okay. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure the healer was, so did the message of, like, thanks for the dungeon. I hope I did well as a tank. You can find me streaming at this and this. It really depends on what content. Yeah, this was Heavensward stuff. Like, I think this was probably main questline Heavensward as well. The tank waits for cutsceners. So, but yeah, so I went through the dungeon and such, and after the dungeon, one of the I think it was the healer at the time. Thank you for the follow, Grimology. The healer found me because, you know, just did a quick stream snipe of, oh, he's over in Heavensward. He's currently in the tavern or whatever. They found me, and they apologized to their DPS on the behalf of their DPS, saying, hey, we're sorry that's what happened. He was, you know, he was just running through this because he'd done this plenty of times. That shouldn't have, like, we're sorry for this. And he gifted me a weapon. So I'm pretty sure it was an axe at the time because I was running a warrior. And he gifted, I'm pretty sure I gave it to you, Code. He gifted Code a book or something. It was like, so that was the one time I accepted a gift, was when, no, it wasn't, you were gifted something, Code. I know you were gifted something. Unless I'm like an idiot and I've accidentally held on to it all this time and I'm really sorry. It was a summoner's book. Okay, so yeah, so they gifted me like a pretty good axe. Like it was level 70 or 80, I think. And then they gifted Code a summoner's book. Which was, and that was the one time I've accepted like a gift, like, you know, without rejection, is because, you know, it was one of those cases where, you know, the guy felt sorry and he was level 90 or 80, I think. Yeah, I think Endwalker was out by then. He was like level 90 or something, and that was his way of apologizing, was here's some gear that you would have, you know, been able to luck into because of a dungeon or something, or rather, here you go. That was the one time I think I've accepted a gift of like huge value. The only other things I've ever accepted is like food, because you get shit tons of food. Like, hang on a second. Like, you get so much food. So one of my things is like when he gifted me something, I think I gifted him like a singular egg. Where am I? What's this guy got? Oh, this is where I can get like... Oh, okay. So this is for the tank. So this is level 70 shit. Augmented... something. Scavian gear. Okay, so yeah, this is where I would get this stuff. Oh, I've got 600. Okay, so I've got the chest. I need to get probably the... All right, let's have a look. So we got this. Let's go for the trousers. There we go. This way. The only services I buy in this game are decoration services, because you can't decorate at all, and you wouldn't invest in that. Fair enough. So yeah, I don't yet have a house, but one day I have the desire of getting myself a decent plot of land for the company, and, you know, maybe once I get to Endwalker or something... Once I get to Endwalker or something, then I would be able to... You wouldn't invest in... Anywho, I would, you know, try and do more Final Fantasy 14, like, group up things. Like, you know the stuff that's like, you know, 8 or 12 player stuff? Trading company... What's his deal? King of the Castle. The employee of the East Alden Trading Company is relieved to see you. I'll do that blue tick later. I don't want to get distracted. I'm doing the patch content. I need to talk to Hancock. Greetings, honored sir. Would you be entering the Ruby Bazaar offices? Yes, I would. I need to go speak to Hancock. Grant, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon? Her Grace, the Sultana, would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah? My dear Grant, I have you to thank for this recognition. I am sure and I am flattered that you came to me. Truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning excursions are said to fill his garter robe with gold. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalan. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Grant, and may your dealings prove fruitful. God fucking damn it. Alright, I am going to do that blue tick just so I can get some real quick gold to pay off this little excursion to Japan. Welcome to Japan. Excuse me, associate. You're gonna give me gil? Yes, you are. Cool. Thanks for this suggestion. Start with a small free... Start with a small free company house, get a workshop, make some free company crafts, sell those for millions. Okay. GrantZeebs. Oh, thank heavens, I am in dire need of a capable adventurer, and I think of none better. Local officials have been working desperately to keep this confidential, but there is trouble in Kugane Castle. It has been overrun by a band of outlaws. What's more, they've taken hostages, a number of nobles along with the Bogo, Kugane's highest magistrate. Gasp! I thought this was going to talk about the housing. They're demanding the country's borders be closed off, insisting Kugane's efforts to establish ties with other countries is folly. Why, if they had their way, I imagine foreigners, or Injuns, as they call them, would never set foot here ever again. Under normal circumstances, the Sekisugumi would have taken steps to immediately resolve this crisis, but they dare not do anything to put the Bugyo at greater risk. To proceed would require a decree from the Bakufu, yet I fear there is no time to send an envoy to the royal capital and back. Nevertheless, they have done their due diligence and delivered a missive. While waiting for a response, they have also called upon the East Oldenard Trading Company in an attempt to potentially expedite the rescue of the hostages. As to why they would go out of their way to contact us, well, one of the captives is from Ulda. It goes without saying the repercussions of a foreign dignitary coming to harm would be dire. Because the... Yep, cool. Yep. Dun-dun-dun. Alrighty, so I need to speak with the blade that's over there. And then... Alright. Dramatic persona, keys of Kagane. Oh, wrong way. Actually, you know what? I should just go to the crystal... sprint! Officially, the FC house belongs to an FC leader, and since leadership transfers with less than a month without logins, it requires an endless sub-dedication or a proper second-in-command with that dedication. Noted. I'm pretty sure Code is my second-in-command, but right now he doesn't have subscription. There is a lot of stuff I need to improve upon with my whole playing Final Fantasy. I try and make it a thing to, you know, play this at least once a week. I need it! If you would like to help, go visit Code the Yoshi. They are a wonderful streamer. They would very much enjoy gifted subs and the like. Alright, so I need to go down here. Ow! Ow! Why you gotta drop an anvil on me, savage? I'm doing my best. Just kidding. Hang on a sec. What's the... Sokka, you can pay us. Where's... I need to find the image. I need to find the image where it's like, oh, how can we thank you? And Sokka's just like, you can feed us. Here it is. Ah! I will be right back. I just need to really quickly get this image just to share with you, like, what we could... This is... Both this is joking. Just for the fact, it's a joke. If there was a way to repay you for what you've done, you could give us some supplies and some money. This is how content creators would very much appreciate patronage. It's like, you could pay us. Make sure to log in at least every 15 days and have it marked on my calendar every 15th and 30th of the month so I don't lose my houses. I thought it was like 45 days. I thought the housing, you know, went away after 45 days, not 15 or 30. You could pay us and give us some supplies. I should Oh! Oh! What episode would that have been from? What episode would of... That's the housing, but you're an FC leader. Oh! So there's like different stuff. Okay. Alright, so I need to talk to you. You were sent by the company? Yes. Dun 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 dun. There we go. The Kugane Castle is now accessible. Oh, but it wants me to enter. God damn it! It wants me to enter that castle in order to get my monies. Fuck that noise. Speak with, and we shall call it Eureka. All right. How do I? Okay, so he's a bit of a distance away. I just want to teleport and fly. If a random gets power in your FC, they could literally steal your house. Thorin the Bull. Savage. Cap? Code. Kaisis. It's a very short list if someone does steal my house. There is I would have a short list of enemies if someone in this post-information age decided to ruin my millennial dream and steal my house. I already have to deal with student debt from the government. I'm not gonna get a house IRL. Maintenance will take place on all worlds from June 20th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Please log out before the maintenance begins. What time is it? 1:30. So in 29 minutes. Thank you very much. Someone give me a reminder with like 15 minutes or 10 minutes to spare. Oh, I need to go this way. That's why there's like so few people around here. Everyone's like left. Oh. It's our adversary. The only free company that has surpassed Himbo. Bimbo. Oh, they're waving. Hi. Maybe one day we can make an alliance with them. But it is not this day. Alright, I need to talk to you. I see you decided to accept the invitation of the House of Splendors. Rowena will be pleased. Come, I will show you to your table. Nice. I would never steal. It's good to see a familiar face in these parts. Particularly that, oh, the man who might well be my most valued customer. Hi, Krill. Hancock! I'm sorry, I'm never going to be able to say Hancock normally. Like, whenever I first see him, it's just going to be Hancock! I gather you were not expecting Krill or myself to be attending this little, tete-a-tete. As you will see, however, this is a matter which concerns us all. It all began when a vessel of the East Aldernon Trading Company happened upon an island in the Glass Ocean, a deserted island which was not recorded on our charts and, quite frankly, had no business being there. Suffice it to say, we were surprised. Pleasantly so, in fact. An unclaimed, undeveloped island in such a location would be a boon to our trading concerns in this corner of the world. Kugane's bleeding us both dry with its tariffs. Depending on the goods, we're paying more than 10 times what we owe in Limsa or Ul'dah, which is already too damn much, believe you and me. Hancock just having an absolute laugh about the tariffs. What my dear Rowena is trying to say is that having an additional port of call in this region, one more amendable to free trade, would be in the best interest of a great many parties. Which is why, upon learning of this island, I immediately authorized an exploratory expedition. The team was large and well funded. I spared no expense. Alas, only a handful returned. The survivors reported irregularities with the island's aether, which we believe gave rise to a number of strange and monstrous beasts which set upon them not long after they arrived. This regrettable turn of events forced us to reevaluate our assessment of the island and put our plans on hold for a time. If development was to proceed, it would require a great deal more capital than originally anticipated. So he came to me and mine for a handout, and I obliged. But before you scoff, know that some of my regular customers were members of that failed expedition, and what they told me was enough to justify the expense. Tales of treasure, of untold wealth and riches, and God knows what else. I will have to wade through all of them beasties, but with great risk comes great reward, as they say. Spoken like a born entrepreneur. Your ambition and ruthlessness are admirable, my lady. I dare say I could stand to learn a thing or two from you. In any experience, having formed our relationship... Wrong. In any event, having formed our partnership, we wish to dispatch a second joint expeditionary force to the island. That said, if we were to send just anyone, their fate is to be the same as that of the first. So, this time, we've a mind to send a dab hand, a veteran of 1,000 battles, a try-and-true killer. You see where I'm going. Gotta head off for a bit. Not to worry, Code. I will have to drop out of this thingamadiggy shortly. While I lack your aptitude for Warcraft, I will be... Warcraft? Warcraft? That's the wrong franchise! We're in Final Fantasy. It should be, as much as I lack your aptitude for fantasy, not Warcraft, I will be joining the expedition as a researcher. The Scions have an interest in this island. Sounds good to me. How perceptive of you. You are right. This is not the sort of affair that would normally concern us. However, after speaking with the others, they have consented to my participation on account of my personal interest. You will forgive me if I say no more at this time. If my suspicions prove true, then I will tell you everything. I promise. Right then, I believe that covers everything. The company ship that will deliver you to the island is waiting to receive you. You may proceed to the pier whenever you are ready to depart. Oh, and so you're not surprised, you'll have company. A craftsman whose help I reckon we ought to have. He should be at the pier already. Rowena and I still have a few things to discuss, so why don't you go on ahead? I'll catch up to you later. Dun 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 dun. There we go. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so I just need to head back to pier number 1 to hand in that mission. Aethernet, pier number 1. That way I can hand that in, get some money for it or something or rather, and then... Hey, it's Geralt! This is the guy who made my Zodiac weapon. The one from A Realm Reborn. I've still not finished the one for Heaven's Ward, and I've not yet started the one for Stormblood. And no matter how many times you say it, you whiny little shite, I ain't about to let a bloody stranger waltz up and dine to me which way my bread is buttered. Now piss off! Yeah, you tell it to the little short stout. Does your Eorzean stubbornness know no end? I have urgent business on that island, and I demand you take me there at once. Just punt the little potato. I could hear the shouting half a malm away. Geralt, what is all the fuss about? Oh, Miss Krill, sorry about that. It's this here bastard who's causing trouble. Edgica, what are you doing here? Did you really think I wouldn't find out about your letter? The nerve of you, trying to get a head start on your own. Well, sorry to spoil your plans. Don't be difficult. I had every intention of requesting your assistance if and when I confirmed my hypothesis was correct. Shoefly. Forgive me. You must be completely at a loss. Yes, you're... This gentleman on the right is... Wait, you already know each other? Do you not? Well, as you may have guessed, Geralt will be lending his considerable expertise to our expedition. And on the left, we have Ejika Tasanjika of the Students of Balsadon, and you must be the so-called Warrior of Light. Charmed, I'm sure. I'll thank you not to get underfoot. Gotta go in a bit. Noted. I also have to hop off shortly as well. Manners, Ejika, if you intend to accompany us on this expedition. Of course I do. If you think I'm about to let a by-the-book traditionalist like you conduct an independent investigation, you've got another think coming. I should be glad to welcome the assistance of a preeminent scholar such as yourself. Now, if you would be so kind as to stop badgering poor Geralt and board the ship, we can get underway. Dun, 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 dun. Ejika is one of the few surviving students of Balsadon. While his expertise in aetherology is impressive by any measure, alas, so is his ego. But enough about that. We have an island to explore. If you have no matters left to attend to, speak with Rodney. He will show you aboard. Oh, he looks like Fangcreed, but nerfed. It occurs to me that no one bothered to tell you the name of the island we mean to explore, am I correct? It is a bit grandiose and melodramatic, but we've tentatively named it for a place from Allergen legend, a forbidden land where fearsome weapons were hidden away for safekeeping. Give us the name. We call it Eureka. Dun 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 dun. Their Eureka Animos is now available. Awesome. We can now to embark on your journey. Speak with Rodney at Pier 1. Please be advised that all excursions in the Fridden are item level synced. For Animos, gear exceeding any level of 300 will be adjusted. While exploring, you'll have the opportunity to create Eureka gear and weapons. If you wish to do so, it would be prudent to acquire level 70 antiquated items in advance. Should you wish to know more about Eureka Animos and what it has out to offer, you may speak with Rodney for further details. Awesome, and I got myself 200 gil. Alrighty then, I have got to log out of that and exit the game because otherwise I'm going to be hit with maintenance. And I reckon that I didn't realize maintenance was going to go off on a Tuesday. I thought maintenance was going to go off on a Wednesday. You're about to go? Just about. I don't want to like swap from like one thing to the other, but you know, we can have like a short little discussion because I have, excuse me, stretching. So yeah, because not this Saturday, but next Saturday is July 1st. I've also made it that the stream anniversary, like my affiliate stream anniversary, will be going off then as well. So it basically goes off like the last day of June for me. Because you will have noticed that like a number of people have reached 24 months subscribed. So I think Meeps would be one of them. I don't know if Code is. Like, hang on a sec. Okay, Code has been a subscriber for 21 months. Jason has been 19. There's been like a number of people who have followed me like for 24 months. Some of them have even been subscribed then. The stream anniversary is going to be going off July 1st, which is going to be coinciding with the party game stream. I think I'm going to keep it relatively lo-fi, and it's just going to be a stream of Mario Kart 8. I don't have like the deluxe tracks, which is unfortunate, but I think Mario Kart 8 should be a relatively fun one for everyone. It's something that I know Kusaki, Quent, and a few of the other Australians play and such, and I'm going to extend invitations to a few peeps just so then that way, you know, I'm not because the last time I did a Mario Kart stream, I didn't send invites and RSVPs with anyone, I was very much hopeful of, oh, chat will fill the numbers. But it's like, I'm not that big. Chat is not going to do that, especially when Nintendo games now need you to have Nintendo Online to play online games, which is a bit shitty that they did that. But that's what's going to be happening July 1st for me, is the stream anniversary is going to be going off then. I'm going to make it a party game stream, and hopefully it should be relatively fun. I just need to, you know, as I said before, send invites, get people aware, get some assets thrown together, so then that way people are aware. I know it's going off... Hang on, when... There's like an event. Aura. When is Sydney's convention? When does Sydney do their convention? June 23rd to 25th. Ah, cool. So I don't have to worry too much about that. Awesome. So yeah, I can send invites to like Sydney peeps there as well. You go suck a lemon. But yeah, that is going to be my plans. I will be back online tomorrow night for streaming
Quote
as well.
400. As you can see, I am not wearing panties.
Thank you. I will be... So, because we're still into June, I know I'm on call, so it might... Some of the streams, I'm like, knock on wood, I hope I don't get a call from work in the middle of the streams, because normally when that happens, it's a 15-minute phone call fixing something, which is really annoying. I'm hoping that's not the case, knock on wood. And especially for Saturday, because Saturday is when I'm going through an MMO. Hopefully, most of the MMO stuff will just simply be, hey, I'm just going from one mission to the next. I'm not going into dungeons or raids or anything like that. That's my biggest desire. But meanwhile, you know, the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, I hope I don't get calls for those. So, because then it breaks the vibe. I don't know how you guys feel about when, because bathroom breaks, for one, and when I have to take an on-call call. Because what you guys see is this screen here, which is frankly old. I've had this particular render for a good, I want to say a year and a half now. I could really improve it. Because I've done a new like stream room like this, you know, about every where's my brain at? Like each year I've probably come up with a different like chatting screen room. I've not done much new stuff in this one. I might do more modeling in tomorrow night's Blender stream, but a part of me also wants to maybe try to flesh out my VTuber model, especially the VTuber model with the maid outfit. So then that way, because I noticed when I was, you know, trying to do expressions and such that it decided to use like the older angry variants. So because in this new guy here, if I go to filters, Sorrow like drops the ears, as you can see. And then angry, you know, moves the eyebrows and moves the ears. So,
Meeps with the 24-month Prime
Meeps!
sub. 2 years of me asking for cookies.
Thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. I'd give you a cookie, but I'm dead. You killed me. Cookie. Here you go. Cookie. Plus, I need to figure out, like, why my mouth does this. It doesn't need to do that. Ah! Thank you for the gifted sub as well. I greatly appreciate it. Hold off on your subs, though, because we're going to be doing a stream anniversary in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a stream anniversary in 2 weeks where... Ow! Horny. We're going to be doing a stream anniversary in 2 weeks. It's going to be like a party game stream. It's going to be Mario Kart. I should invite some peeps. It should be fun. Is my... Yep, my thingamadiggy is still bouncing. We need to have a look at who we are going to go and raid. Let's have a look-sees. Ooh, Ato is streaming right now. I reckon it would be a pretty good surprise to go raid into them. I've met them through Furdu. So let's go and raid into them. They will appreciate it. Also, can my chest stop bouncing, please? There we go. Raid Shadow Cookies. Is that our... All right, we'll make that our raid message. Raid Shadow Cookies, then. So... Raid Shadow Cookies. Hopefully that will be available for everyone. Oh no, you poor Himbo. No, not my poor Himbo. So yeah, that's going to be our raid message for them. And you know, hopefully they'll be happy for it. I will be back online tomorrow night. We are going to be going through Blender shit. So it's either going to be modeling or sculpting more things for the back of this room, or maybe trying to do some expressions update to this zebra here. Who knows? Even I don't know at this point. I should really make a message. But otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to this afternoon's stream. I know it's a bit of a short one. I'm sorry that it's a short one. I didn't think there was going to be maintenance on Final Fantasy, but I do want to spend a little bit of my afternoon planning what I'm going to be doing for Blender and trying to like set up things for the party stream in 2 weeks. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Next Saturday, we're having a party game stream. Otherwise, I will hopefully see you all next time. Bye for now.